You know that feeling? That deep down need to just hit the reset button? To kind of step away from all the noise of daily life and find a little bit of balance? Well, you are definitely not alone. A whole global industry has been built on that exact feeling. So today, let's dive into this huge quest for wellness and see the absolutely staggering numbers behind it.
Just let this number sink in for a second. $622.7 billion. That's what the wellness retreat market is expected to be worth in about a decade. I mean, a figure that massive tells us one thing, loud and clear. This is not just some niche trend anymore. Nope. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about our health and, our time off. So this brings us right to the heart of it. What are we actually talking about when we say wellness retreat? And what are the powerful forces that are turning these getaways into a global multi-billion-dollar phenomenon? Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the huge market size, then we'll define what this kind of travel actually is. We're going to explore the burnout culture that's feeding this whole thing, see how its philosophy is changing, look at how tech is getting involved, and then finally, we'll take a peek into the future of feeling good. All right, first up, a $500 billion reset. Let's put that massive number from the beginning into some real context and really understand where this market is headed. The growth here is it's wild. We're starting from an already gigantic base of nearly $300 billion just this year. But with a compound annual growth rate of 7%, well, the market's going to more than double by 2035. This isn't a slow burn, it's an absolute explosion. Okay, so we know it's big business, but what is it really? Let's get a super clear definition of what separates a wellness trip from, just any old vacation. At its core, wellness tourism is all about improving yourself, not just escaping your life. The keywords here are preventive and holistic. The goal is to come back home not just rested, but genuinely restored, feeling like you're better equipped to handle the stresses of it all.
A lot of people get this confused with medical tourism, but they are worlds apart. Medical tourism is reactive. You're traveling to treat a sickness you already have. Wellness tourism, though, it's proactive. You're investing in preventing illness and finding that balance. So one is about fixing a problem, the other is about building up your resiliency for whatever's coming next. Now that we've got a clear definition, let's get into the human side of this whole thing. Why are so many people looking for these experiences right now? Well, welcome to the burnout boom.
The reasons behind this boom, they're really just a reflection of modern life, aren't they? We're in this always-on culture where the line between work and home is totally blurred, and that's leading to a much-needed focus on mental health. We're also seeing more diseases linked to stress and just sitting around too much. For busy folks, a quick weekend retreat is a perfect escape, and it all ties back to that proactive mindset. People want to take charge of their health before it becomes a real problem. And if you need one number to really ground this whole trend in reality, here it is, 38%. More than a third of working people around the world feel stressed out on the job. That kind of chronic stress creates this massive demand for a release valve. And for a lot of people, that release valve looks like a wellness retreat. And get this, it's not just about company getaways or trips with friends. This need for a reset is deeply personal. For people traveling by themselves, health and wellness experiences are now the second most requested thing. That shows this powerful individual desire not just to see new places, but to use that time for some serious self-improvement and restoration. This trend also plugs into something bigger. The whole philosophy of what a wellness trip is evolving. For the longest time, sustainable was like the gold standard for being a conscious traveler. But now, we're starting to see a shift to something more. For years, the luxury travel market totally mastered this. They turned sustainability into a status symbol, Things like eco-lodges, carbon offsets, farm-to-table dining. The main idea was all about minimizing the bad stuff you do. But the new frontier is regeneration, and this is the key evolution right here. The crucial difference is shifting from a passive goal, like do no harm, to an active one, leaving a place better than you found it. It's about actively contributing to the local ecosystem and the community, so your personal wellness journey actually becomes a net positive for the place you visited, too. Now for a really fascinating twist. So while one part of the wellness world is all about nature and disconnecting, another part is plugging right in. Let's look at how Silicon Valley's data-first mindset is starting to reshape the industry in a section we're calling Hacking Your Happiness. So the Global Wellness Institute has spotted a few key trends here.
First, you've got biohacking, which is basically using science and tech to try and upgrade your body and mind. Then there are data selfies, where your watch or your ring collects data not just on your steps, but on your inner world, like your stress levels or how well you slept. And finally, biofeedback, which uses all that real-time biological data to give you a super precise picture of your own emotions, going way beyond just asking, "So, how are you feeling?" Okay, so what happens when we pull all these threads together? What does the future of this massive, evolving, and more data-driven industry actually look like?
This quote really says it all. The wellness industry will become an extension of the data economy. The whole idea here is that wellness won't be this separate thing from the data that already shapes so much of our lives. Instead, the industry is going to use that data to create these hyper-personalized experiences, all tailored to exactly what we need for our own health and happiness.
And that leaves us with one final, kind of wild thought. As our devices learn more and more about our stress levels, our sleep patterns, our emotional states, are we headed for a future where our perfect vacation isn't something we choose, but something that's prescribed to us by an algorithm? It's a fascinating question about the future of how we rest, recharge, and find our well-being.